Ryan Leaf, ESPN college football analyst, and a part of many different things, college football as well, joins us Sic'Em 365 Radio, 365 Sports at Baylor University to speak with the team for Dave Aranda on Wednesday. Ryan, thanks for your time. I know you speak to a lot of different people. We've talked to you many times about what you speak about and about you. How does that go about? Did Coach Aranda reach out to you?
He did. He had Dennis Pullian, reach out to me, and Dennis and I go way back, right? He was on the draft table 25 years ago, writing down Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf to hand in on that day. So we go way back. He's watched my arc. He knew that my message would be well received by this team, the way Dave Aranda is going about his business here in Waco. And so when I got that call, I thought we had shared values, and I jumped at the opportunity to get in front of his team yesterday. And I really like what he's doing here. It's something special. It's a different approach. The kids really seem to react to it and are motivated by it. And, defending Big 12 champs, that's going to be a big expectation this year to try to go out and meet again.
When you say he does it a little bit different, we kind of know. We've been following what he's done in a short amount of time and how he's even transformed in football terms and really now kind of just starting to get to know him maybe during last season when it was a little easier for us to have a chance to be around him. When you say different, it is different, isn't it?
He reminds me a lot of my head coach in Tampa, Tony Dungy. There isn't a lot of bravado. There's more vulnerability and transparency, and that's a big part of what I speak about. And so he thought it would be a perfect fit to show the guys that this is about us. This is about the guys in this room. This is about us achieving our goals, but it's not the end-all, be-all. It's about being better men. It's about doing the things that you need to do and getting to that place. It's very, very important to get to that place, and he's a guy that's really, really doing that.
How did the players react to what you're saying?
It's always interesting to see, this generation with cell phones and all of those things that exist. They were very receptive. They listened. They were quiet. And sometimes as a speaker, when there's no, reaction, because my hour-long speech, my engagement is, there's self-deprecation in it, right? There's some comedy to it, and when you don't get the normal laugh, you think either they're not listening, but I think they understand that it's a serious subject, so they may be a little confused as to, should I laugh? That sounds funny. Should I? And so I make it really clear to them that it's a serious subject, but I don't take myself very seriously when I go about it.
Did you think when you were like an 18, 20, 22-year-old football star, possibly the number one pick in the draft, did you ever think that your legacy in life at that time would be who you are as a person, as a human being, rather than as a football player?
I didn't think that it was going to play out that way. I was trying to make it as good as I possibly could, but you never quite know what you're going to experience when you go through it. And so I think that was living life on life's terms, and I wasn't prepared for what failure would look like. So it just took time. It just took a matter of whether or not I was willing to do the hard work and accept who I was, this flawed human being, trying to be better. And through that process, I've grown up. It's taken a lot of time, but every day is an opportunity. And when somebody like Coach Aranda gives you a call to try to, really better yourself along with somebody else while being of service, you jump at it. It's just the ironic thing about coming out of prison 7.5 years ago is that you make a choice to make it about somebody else and your life gets better. That's something I didn't know was possible. I thought it always had to be about you. Mm-hmm. And so that's what made it extra special.
Ryan, do people listen to you even more intently now than they did perhaps when you first started to try to maybe give your testimony or just, tell people what you'd been through and help them learn from your mistakes?
Well, I think anytime you have longevity, right? I mean, if it's somebody speaking who's newly sober or newly, doing this thing, yeah, I think there's probably some reservation. But, as I tell the kids, talk is cheap. It's about showing up. And, I've shown up for the last 7.5 years, and I'll continue to do so. And if people need more time, then they need more time. I can't control any of that. I just can control what I do, and I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing to be, the best possible version of myself.
What's it feel like to be who you are now?
I like the guy that I see in the mirror. I definitely do. That wasn't always the case. A lot of times I couldn't look at that guy. But I also, like I said, don't take myself very seriously. I'm not an important person. I'm not any different than anybody else. I'm a flawed human being, just like everybody. I'm a dad and I'm a husband, and those things come first, regardless of any other circumstance. And I wouldn't say, life is life. Life's hard. Life isn't fair sometimes. It's about how you deal with it. So for me, I just wanted a peaceful and chaotic life, and I feel like I've gotten that. Though there's chaos from time to time, don't get me wrong, especially when you got a 4.5-year-old. But I found that peaceful nature of things.
Ryan, you discussed Baylor football. You spoke with them and discussed what about the talk and what Dave Aranda's doing. You did a game, I think, or two last year. We had you on. Your thoughts? Blake Shapen won the quarterback job. Your thoughts as they move forward and the confidence they have? And yes, they have to replace a lot of different people on both sides, but they have a lot that are back as well.
They do. I called 3 of their games last year, so I got a very good understanding of who they were, what they were about. I like their offense, run the football, be a power offense, run play action, take shots down the field, and then have that great defense. And you're right, they've lost a lot of guys, but there were a lot of guys that were second tier a year ago that weren't quite getting the shine, and they're going to get the spotlight thrown on them. And this coaching staff feels like they're ready for that challenge. And so, the intent of those young men yesterday and what they were listening to, how they've gone about their last 4 weeks during strength and conditioning program, I'm excited for this football game. I'll tell you right now, no one in the Big 12 is going to want a piece of them. They're just not going to want a piece of them on the weekend. And it's important that people understand that.
Did you get a chance to see Shapen when he started to take over when Bohannon went down?
I did. I was a little surprised that they went this direction, that Bohannon then didn't win the job, and because I thought he did a terrific job last year, and he got injured, and so this staff knows best. I'm looking at it from a 30,000-foot view, not inside the program. So it's important for people that are outside of it to understand that this is what they think is best for the team, and clearly everybody's on board.
One thing to wrap it up, you mentioned Tony Dungy. Dave Aranda has mentioned Tony Dungy, and now you, of course, as you mentioned, played for him, and now you get to know Dave Aranda. That's high standard right there. Those are two of about as, I guess you could say, real as you could possibly get as coaches.
It is. It's a high standard, and I don't mean to place that on him, but when you find somebody that you want to be, you go and try to emulate that individual. You go and ask them questions and follow their advice verbatim. He's done that. He feels like this is the way to win at Baylor. Find the right kid that fits the Baylor mold, and then find some studs that you can put around and make this thing go. And so I like his chances. He was a hot name in the coaching market a year ago, and he let everybody know him and his family love Waco, what it's about, and what he can offer this program. And so I'm excited. You knock out Texas and Oklahoma out of this conference. Baylor has a real chance to put themselves at the very top year in, year out. They did it last year against both of them as well, but there's real opportunity for Dave Aranda and his staff.
Ryan, I remember when we first started talking to you during those early Super Bowl years when you were bouncing back, and I always enjoyed those segments. Everybody has a story to tell. Everybody wishes they could do things better. Thanks for who you are, what you've been, and also for your time today.
You bet, David. Have a great day.
Ryan Leaf, ESPN college football broadcaster, but many things broadcaster, and his story to tell of the Baylor football team. Sic'Em 365 Radio, 365 Sports.